share that with you afterwards. It'll be either a link or it'll be posted on our website. And those of you that have been in Zoom meetings, of course, many of you have, you'll just, if you have any questions, you can ask them after the presentations and type them in the chat box, and I'll gladly read them after the presentations. So welcome everybody. This is the Consumer Young Entrepreneurs Workshop. Today, Wednesday, February 24th, and it's going to be a recorded session because they'd asked me to record. And let's see, there you are, nice. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce DaVatrice Lindsey, staff attorney for the NELP project at Legal Aid Society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mario. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending this webinar, which is being hosted by the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County. As Mario stated, my name is DaVatrice Lindsey, and I am the attorney for the Neighborhood Entrepreneurial Law Project, known as NELP. It launched in 2018 for individuals and for-profit small businesses. We provide residents of the Palm Beach County area the tools and knowledge to be successful in starting in or owning their own small business. We also supply limited financial assistance for business registration, logo design, home occupation affidavit, and more for eligible applicants only. And we furnish webinars and podcasts regarding important business topics, such as the topics for today. I have the pleasure of introducing the first presenter, Ryan Lowry. Ryan J. Lowry is a lifetime resident of Peoria, Illinois. He has demonstrated his commitment to the community through his involvement with many organizations. He serves as president of the board of directors for the Golden Torch Foundation, on the board of directors for the Carver Community Center, on the United Way Grant Review Committee, and as a past president of the Peoria Alumni Chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. He currently works for Evonik Corporation as the department manager for maintenance and utilities at the Mapleton Chemical Production Site. He is the co-founder of Social Therapy Limited, a Peoria-based event promotions business. He is also the co-founder and host of Whisper and Shout, Peoria's longest standing open mic poetry series. He owns and manages several residential investments through his property management business. His hobbies include reading, biking, roller skating, and he also holds a pro card for competitive bodybuilding. Most of all, he enjoys spending time traveling with his wife and children. Ryan Lowry.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Are we ready to start? Okay, so about me, what wasn't said in my great introduction from Ms. Lindsey, I do have a family. I love my wife and children, and my mother who keeps me busy also. So you can see that picture that represents our family. Graduate of University of Illinois and Bradley University here in Peoria. I've claimed Ghanaian and Jamaican citizenship, not through any DNA, but because those are my favorite places to visit. So that's what I'm claiming. So that's what I am. And as she said, I'm involved in several community organizations as well. But about me and my journey with entrepreneurship, as she stated, I work at a chemical manufacturing organization as a department manager. That is my day job. However, I do have an entrepreneurial spirit, so I have several things that I have going on the side. Most notably, my property management business. You can see there shown by the keys. I own and manage several residential properties and manage properties for other investors as well, and employ a small staff of people to assist me in that business. Bottom left there, she mentioned that I started a poetry series, an open mic series, and that continues to go on. She said it's the longest running series in Peoria, but it's the longest running series in the state of Illinois. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to keep claiming it until somebody corrects me. She mentioned that I have a pro card for competitive bodybuilding. One of my many failed businesses is that of personal training. I learned very quickly that I do not have the patience to be a personal trainer. So I decided to go ahead and let that one go, but I do still work in fitness and compete as well. Shown to the top right there, a picture of myself with my business partner in social therapy, where we host several events, parties, comedy shows, concerts, things here in the Peoria area. And that continues to go today. And then to the bottom right, I am a DJ, and I mainly did that to save myself money in my events, so that I didn't have to pay a DJ. But that's one of my many hustles as well. But we'll talk about those a little bit more when we get into the presentation. So what is entrepreneurship? So the definition that I like to use is the creation or extraction of value. Entrepreneurs see a void, and they figure out how to fill that void and create value within it. So entrepreneurs are people who take ideas and create ways to generate revenue from those ideas. It's not enough to have a bright idea. In order to call yourself an entrepreneur, you need to find a way to create revenue and generate funds and make money from those ideas. But of course, not every entrepreneurial idea is a new idea. I want to make that key because it's not necessarily required to invent something or come up with something new. There's always a better way or a different way to do something and a way to create value where no value exists. So entrepreneurs are innovators. Success in entrepreneurship is not possible without some form of innovation. Again, you don't have to invent something or create something new. You just have to find a better way, a cheaper way, or a more convenient way to do something or to help someone do something. So the type of innovation that is required is ultimately based on the market for your product or service. So talking about markets, so there's three main types of markets. Depending on the source that you're reading, there's many more, but I like to focus on the main three, which are new markets, existing markets, and clone markets. And it's very key if you're going to start a business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, to really understand what type of market you're reaching for and understand that market. How do you do that? Through market research, right? You do surveys, you talk to focus groups, you interview people, you go to the library, which is a non-existent thing. You actually go to the library and look at some things, look at articles, read magazines to understand exactly where your product or your service can fit within a market, right? Trade associations, right? You talk to experts in that field. You talk to people who have experience in the market that you're trying to service. You have to get that information. You have to know the market that you're trying to reach prior to jumping in and starting a business. So the three different types of markets. A new market. So a new market is where you create something new. You invent something, you have an idea, you create a service. It's something that's new, that doesn't currently exist. And you are creating that market through your product or through your service. A good example of this is the computer, the personal computer, something that didn't exist before. Some smart person invented the computer. Now all of a sudden there's a market for computers. The other type is an existing market. That's when there's an established market, there's an established product or service that's similar or the same as what you want to provide, but you want to get in that same market, understanding that there is room and there is space to either expand that market or to take over a portion of that market. A good example of this is the company, Microsoft, who didn't necessarily invent computers, but created, software and created different applications to service computers and make computers easier to use. Last but not least, go back please. Last but not least is the clone market, and that's where you create a market, you build a market, and then you duplicate that market in a different area or a different demographic. A good example of this is restaurant franchises. A restaurant will open a restaurant and create a model that's successful, create a type of food, a selection or menu that works and that's profitable, and then they open up another restaurant in another city to do the exact same thing. And that's another way to really expand and create a market is through clone markets. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to ask yourself several questions before you get started. Number one, what is my product? And really knowing what you want to create, what you want to sell, what service you want to provide, and really understanding it for yourself is critical before you start, because everything goes from there. What is my product? What am I selling? Right? Is there a market for my product? Next slide, please. Is there a market for my product? Now, this question is key, right? It's almost as important as the first question. We can have all of the ideas and the ambition that we want in our product and our good and our service, but is there a market for it? i.e., are there people that are willing to pay me for this service? If we can't answer yes to that question, then we don't have a business. We need to be able to answer yes to that question. If there is no market, we need to create the market, right? Next slide. So the next question is just that. Can I create a sustainable market for my product? If there is no market, can you create one, right? Can you do what you need to do in order to create a situation where people, businesses, organizations are willing to continue to pay for your product or your service? The next question, am I okay with being told no? And as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to say yes to this question, because the vast majority of the people who you try to sell your good or your product to will tell you no. They may not outright say no, the word no, but they'll tell you no by not spending their money with you, by not promoting your business, by not supporting your business financially. So you need to be able to say, yes, I'm okay with being told no the vast majority of the time. A good example for this is my poetry event, and understanding that it's not something that's for everyone. It's not something that everyone can consistently get behind and support. However, there are people that do, and there are people that are willing to support and are very into that sort of thing. So the key here is, am I okay with being told no, but not focusing on the no's, and focus on the people who are willing to support your business, who are your market, who can support your business. The next question, can I handle public scrutiny and criticism? You need to be able to answer yes to this question as well. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be putting yourself out there to make money. If you want to make money, you're going to have to put yourself out there publicly. You're going to have to promote your business. You're going to have to promote yourself. You're going to have to be willing to be scrutinized and criticized publicly based on whatever service or good you're providing. If you can't handle being criticized publicly, if you can't handle being scrutinized as an individual, as a business, then entrepreneurship is probably not for you. You need to have very, very thick skin and understand that not everyone is necessarily going to support you and sing your praises as a business owner or as an individual. Next question is, do I have the necessary resources to get started? This is another key point. Depending on what type of business you want to start, you need to understand exactly what type of resources are required in order to start, to keep your business going, to sustain yourself and your business in times where you have good revenue streams and in times where you don't. Now, obviously, there are certain types of businesses that require lower overhead, that require lower expenses and resources to start than others. But that's a key point of understanding your product and your service that you're providing as an entrepreneur, the type of resources that are necessary to get started. And when I mention resources, I'm not just talking financial, I'm talking support, I'm talking expertise, I'm talking collaboration, partners. These are all resources that you can tap into, grants. These are all resources that you can tap into to help you start your business. And the most important resource that you need is information, right? Having access to information regarding your market, regarding your business, and where you can find necessary resources is key. And this is all things that you need to do prior to starting any type of business. Next question. am I willing to do what it takes to build my business? Building a business is very, very difficult, especially if you're not used to it, especially if you're not experienced in it, and especially if you don't know what it takes really to build your business starting from scratch. Are you willing to do the dirty work behind your business? Depending on what it is, there's probably some areas of it that are not glamorous, that are not fun, that were not a part of your original dream when you thought, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to start a business. But you need to be willing to say, yes, I'm going to do just about anything within my power that I can to build my business. Next question is, can I handle failure? Success in entrepreneurship is really just a series of failures that you learn from, and being able to get past those failures is key, and learn from each and every one of them. The key in handling failure is really understanding how to learn from it, and learn lessons that you would not have been able to learn through asking someone, or through reading books, through reading articles on the internet. You really have to dive in and learn things on your own sometimes, and fail in order to learn and understand and motivate yourself to get what you need in order to move forward in your business. Last but not least, what is the overall vision and goal for my business? It's key that you understand where your business is going. And it's not enough to say, I want to make money, I want to get rich. That's not enough. You really need to understand what the vision is for your business, your service. Where can it go in the future? Where is it currently, and where can it go? You need to be able to write it down. Have a mission statement, have a vision statement on paper that you can refer back to, that you could reference every time you hit a low point, every time you're demotivated. You can look back at your vision and say, this is what I'm working toward. What is the goal for my business, right? And having a established list of goals for your business on paper is key. It's key for progress. It's key for motivation. It's key for accountability of yourself, of the people who are working with you in business. Write it down. If it's not written down somewhere, if it's not on paper, it probably doesn't exist. It probably will not motivate you. And when you're setting goals, make sure that they're specific. Make sure that they are measurable. Make sure that they have timelines, right? Because it doesn't help to set a goal, a vague goal like I'm going to make money, or I'm going to start a business. You need to be able to say, I'm going to open a barbershop, and I want to cut 15 heads a day, and that needs to be your goal. If you're not measuring that, if you're not looking at your goals in that way, in measurable ways, it's going to be difficult to assess whether or not you're being successful in your business and as an entrepreneur. So we talk about what entrepreneurship is, and I would like to talk quickly about what entrepreneurship is. It's not. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Whether you're starting a side business, whether you're starting a business that you hope to sustain your lifestyle as your primary source of income, either way, it's not going to be easy. There are easier ways to make money than starting a business and being an entrepreneur. And I'll illustrate it by speaking on my property management business. I thought when I initially started, I was going to buy some properties, I was going to manage them, I was going to collect rent, and I was going to make a lot of money doing so. And the opposite happened. I purchased properties. Things did not go well. I was not prepared financially. I was not prepared mentally. I was not prepared in terms of having information necessary to deal with tenants, to deal with the courts, deal with evictions, and deal with mechanical and maintenance issues. I was not prepared. I thought because I knew how to use a hammer and a screwdriver that I knew enough. No, I thought that because I had a few dollars in my bank account that I had enough. And I learned very quickly that things were going to be difficult for me because I was not prepared. And what I lacked in preparation, I had to make up for in hard work. I've come past that now. I know a lot more than I did. I know the laws of the land. I know how to fix just about anything in all of my rental properties. And now I'm at the point now where I can employ other people to help me manage my properties and the properties that I manage for other people. But again, the road was not easy, and it still is not today. I was knee deep in mud dealing with one of my rental properties today when I just decided I should probably look and make sure that I wasn't going to be late, and I was almost late. So entrepreneurship is not a guaranteed path to wealth and success. If your main motivation for becoming an entrepreneur is to be wealthy and successful, I'll say this: there are better ways to make money. There are ways that are more easily guaranteed paths to wealth than being an entrepreneur. Now, I will say that the richest people in the world are entrepreneurs. They're people who started and own businesses. However, those are few and far between, and they're absolutely not the norm. Most people who are entrepreneurs fail initially. They lose money initially. They fail to ever reach any amount of wealth and success based on the traditional idea of being an entrepreneur, and based on the traditional idea of what an entrepreneur and business owner is. I can speak from my personal and extended circle of people. I know several people who are wealthy, several people who are millionaires. The vast majority of them attained their wealth and became millionaires through working a regular job. They work regular jobs, they invest, they save their money over time, and eventually you get to the point where you have some level of wealth and success. However, entrepreneurship, there's no limit, there's no cap on what you can make as an entrepreneur. But again, if you're just doing it for the money, if you're just doing it to be wealthy and successful, it's probably not the path for you. There are better ways and more easier and consistent ways to make money than being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not the key to happiness. Okay. So if you're unhappy in the job that you're doing, if you're unhappy in the program that you're in, the educational program that you're in, the school that you're in, starting a business is not going to make you happy. It will not be the thing that gives you joy. It will stress you. It will humble you in many ways. However, it can be extremely rewarding on the back end when you're able to push through the hard times and the stress and the humbling situations, knowing that you built something, that you can create value and that you can create a revenue stream for yourself that isn't necessarily dependent on someone else giving it to you is extremely rewarding. Again, it's not going to make you happy, but it can be rewarding if you do it the right way and you persist in it. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Now, while anyone can be an entrepreneur, some people are just not meant for it. And I don't say this to demotivate anyone. I want to motivate anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur to do just that. However, there's no shame in going to work every day and earning a salary and working in a job. Contrary to some content you may see on social media and YouTube and whatnot, there's really no shame in working a 9-to-5 job and having a regular job. I guarantee you that most of those people are doing better than the entrepreneurs that you know. However, for those few who have the entrepreneurial spirit, who really want to invest in yourself and to make money for yourself and create wealth and business for yourself, please understand that you are a special person and that not everyone will share your vision and not everyone will support you. Last but not least, entrepreneurship is not exclusive to certain groups of people. Again, anyone can be an entrepreneur. It's not just for those who are rich. It's not just for those who are white or who are any group that may be privileged. it's not exclusive to those groups of people. Anyone can start a business, anyone can build a business, anyone can create something and create wealth and value for themselves. You just have to be able to look past the barriers that are in your way in order to make it real for you. Next slide, please. So the question, is entrepreneurship for me? So if you can answer all of the questions that I mentioned in the last 12 or so slides and say, yes, I can handle failure. Yes, I'm okay with being told no. Yes, I'm okay with alienating my family and friends. And this is the key point, because when you are starting a business, you need to understand that not everyone is going to support you, especially the people who are close to you, who you would think would automatically support you in your business and be willing to bend over backwards to support you. You will find out very quickly that that is not the case. You need to be willing to stand on your own, to branch out on your own. You need to be willing to talk to strangers to build your business. You need to be willing to be criticized and, again, alienated by the people who are close to you. Because if you're not willing to take those hits and to push through that, then perhaps entrepreneurship is not for you. So is it for you? So can you say, I have a product or a good or a service that people are willing to pay for? If so, please press forward. Is there a market for it? Are people willing to pay me for this product? If you can say yes, sure, please press forward. I want to implore you to do so, because there are very few things that are more rewarding than having your own business, creating your own streams of income, aside from what you may be doing on your 9-to-5 job. And I think that is my last slide. I want to just close by saying that, again, when we talk about entrepreneurship, there are varying levels of it. Whether you are looking to invent the next big thing and start a big business, the next big thing, or whether or not you make rubber band bracelets and you want to sell them to your friends, there's levels to it, and you need to understand that whatever level that you are currently is where you need to start and where you can start, and there are no barriers that will prevent you from starting from exactly where you are. Just needing to understand where you are and what resources and information you need in order to get to the next level. And I'll close there. If there are any questions, I will entertain them now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Thank you for that enlightening presentation. There is one question.
Okay.
What one thing or person made you not give up on entrepreneurship?
Say what one thing or person?
Right.
For me, it was having children and wanting to be able to really to afford to pay for things for them, and that was it. I do have 4 children, and our children are expensive. I want to be able to provide things for my children that I did not have, provide opportunities for them, be able to teach them things that I did not know as a child. And entrepreneurship for me has given me the opportunity to learn a great deal of things in a lot of different areas. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, which is good and bad. But when having children for me really solidified the fact that I wanted to create multiple income streams for myself, not just for the money, but for the knowledge and for the experience and for the life experience that I could give to my children.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Lowry.
you.
I do have a
May we
question.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
How would you approach someone to let them know that you're interested in having them become your mentor, especially if that person is successful and they may be a little bit busy or may have a lot of things on their plate, but still you're still interested in seeing how they go day by day, what they do to become successful, and asking them that you would like them to be your mentor. How would you approach that? How would you approach that person to ask them to be their mentor?
The first thing I would do is to research and understand that person, know a little bit about them other than what's on the surface and what I see. People who are successful and busy and have a lot going on are much more likely to deal with and donate and invest their time into someone who understands them and knows something about them. For example, if I wanted to approach a person who, say, who owned a restaurant franchise, and I wanted to talk to them about, I want to own my own restaurant franchise. I want you to mentor me in this. The first thing I would do is really understand that person, try to understand that person's journey, and tap into it, and let them know that I see the progress that they've made, and that I respect it, and that I would like to learn from it. So really, it's about allowing that person to know that you, not only that you want to get something from them, that you really do appreciate their journey, and that you want to learn from it. So approach it from a standpoint of not that I want to get something from you, but I want to learn from your experience, because I respect and I honor what you've gone through.
Thank you.
Thank you. May we have your contact information in case someone wants to reach out to you?
Sure. So my name, Ryan Lowry, RyanLowry. Feel free to email me at rlowry5, the number 5, at yahoo.com.
Thank you. And there is one comment. It says, thank you, Ryan, for your very real and transparent presentation. Oh, you're getting a lot of kudos. There's another one. Loved it. That was some real talk right there. So great job. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, if anyone wants to have specific questions and wants to reach, doesn't want to reach out, doesn't want to ask in the group, wants to see, certain things, I will provide receipts. DaVatrice has been in my house, so she knows I do okay. So I'm happy to provide that, and I'm happy to give you, to talk to you, back channel about areas where I failed. Again, I've tried to start many businesses, and I've failed at most of them, but I've persisted and been able to be successful in some of them, and that's the key. Is focusing on where you can be successful, where you can be profitable, and investing your time and energy there. And don't stop because perhaps your first effort at entrepreneurship was not successful. You did not make the money that you thought. You did not, reach the audience that you thought that you could reach. Just focus on where you can be successful, the people who will support you, and that will lead to more opportunities, more success, more knowledge, more experience, more opportunities for your business to grow.
Absolutely. Definitely reach out to him if you have any further questions. Thank you so much for the presentation once again, and for the attendees' participation. The questions were great. We're moving on to the next presenter, Maat.
I'm here. Hold on.
Maat. Okay, let me introduce you properly.
Yes.
Maat recently co-founded Awanada Wellness Ministry and had a wellness center in Raleigh of Memphis from 2014 to 2017, servicing the mental, physical, and spiritual needs of the new African population. The Awanada name has recently been changed to Rhythm of Life Wellness Ministry and currently facilitates various wellness classes and one-on-one wellness consultations for new African people. Rhythm of Life is located in the Fraser area of the Ida B. Wells District and serves as an integral part of the Ministry of Health and Society for the PGRNA. Maat has also been extremely active in the Ida B. Wells Collective Unit since 2015. The studies include New African principles, philosophy, history, political science, martial arts, strategy, and tactics. There are now 3 Ida B. Wells units that work collectively that have successfully created the Ida B. Wells Garden, the Voices of New Africa, and New African Perspectives, and are diligently working on recruitment in other areas. Maat is currently serving on the PCC representing Ida B. Wells and is serving as Minister of Health and Society for the PGRNA. Maat is also known for the following: holistic lifestyle specialist, social therapist, Reiki practitioner, sound therapist, musician, healing artist, African dance instructor, yogi, vegan chef, and the proud mother of 2 new African sons. I present to you Maat.
Greetings, everyone. I don't know, can y'all see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, because my screen does not look like everybody's, I don't think. Okay, hold on. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay, so entrepreneurship and business plans. Brother Ryan Lowry did a wonderful job explaining, the pros and cons of entrepreneurship, what type of energy you need to have going into entrepreneurship. I will say this, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. If you want to be successful, it is a lot of work. So the first place to start is yourself. What exactly is your mission and purpose on the planet? Like, you have to know yourself. You do not want to go into an area of business that does not drive you, that does not motivate you, that does not fulfill a need on the outer world and a need within yourself. Because you need to be able to have the energy to go for hours beyond just an 8-hour shift. Sometimes it's 12. Sometimes you working 3 days straight. Like, it has to be a passion to be successful. If it is not a passion to be successful, you need to hire other passionate people that's about it, because it's not it's not going to happen, So that's first off in terms of entrepreneurship. Once you decide within yourself, look, I do not want to work a 9-to-5. I want to go full-time entrepreneurship. I want to do this, or even if you start part-time, so you can have a smooth transition, you have to be willing to be very, very honest with yourself. You have to be very disciplined. You have to know your goals and objectives. You need to know your end goal. A lot of people go into entrepreneurship. I myself have made this mistake going into entrepreneurship, not zeroing in on my personal end goal. What is the work that I really could spend my whole entire life doing? What is something that I can spend infinite amount of time, no matter the ups and downs, because it's motivated by a goal, it's motivated by an goal, it's motivated by an objective, it's motivated by my driving force, my purpose in life. What exactly am I willing to do? And you have to be very, very honest with yourself, because in entrepreneurship, you're looking at whether it's a sole proprietary, or we're looking at whether you want to go into partnership, you're looking at whether you want to incorporate. This is a lot of different decisions. You might want to start your own nonprofit. There's just a lot of different things. So you have to know your end goal. And once you know your end goal, then you are prepared to create your business plan. So within your business plan, you don't want it to be long and extremely wordy and extremely detailed. You leave your details for your project plans. You leave your details for your plan of action, right? Your business plan, whether it's for yourself or it's for yourself and for possibly an investor, you want it to be straight to the point. You don't want to be extremely lengthy and wordy, because most people, specifically these days, people don't like to read a whole bunch of stuff, specifically if it's going in circles. So you want to be very, very direct with your business plan. And depending on how small a business or how large, depends on your business plan, how lengthy your business plan and how detailed it is in terms of these different sections that we're going to go over today. It all depends on specifically what it is that you're trying to do. Okay. So to continue our conversation in entrepreneurship from what Brother Ryan Lowry was talking about, let's look at the parts of a business plan. You have your executive summary. You have your overview of the business. You have your personnel info. You have your business, what your business is offering, your company financing, what that money, the flow of money looks like, marketing, who would want to support your product or service, what your business goal and growth is, and what your financial plan is. Now, we're going to go into each one of these sections more thoroughly. Your overview. You want, in your overview, your business information, meaning your business location, what the name of your business is, address, things, simple things of that matter, right? So you have your overview. Then, of course, you have your business contact information, the formation, whether it's the sole proprietor, whether it's a partnership, business operation. What is it? What is it that you'll be doing? And whatever additional information you feel is necessary for the overview of your business. That's quick and straight to the point, right? Next, in your business plan, you want your personnel info. So if you are the CEO or you're the founder, you want that info. You want your leadership team info, right? You want who's teaming up with you. What are their qualifications? What are your own qualifications? What makes you an expert in this arena? What makes your team an expert in this arena? And how many employees you're looking at, and what it is that you're looking for in your employees. What are some of the qualities that you need? What are some of the skill sets that you need when looking to hire employees? So you do want to put those briefly in your business plan, because remember, your business plan is for you to go back to reference when you feel like things are kind of off course, right? Because things will go interesting, okay? And you learn a lot with your failures and your successes in business. So you want to be straight to the point, yet put a little detail there so you can have something to go back to. Okay, so after your personnel info, you have what your business is offering. What is it? What industry are you going into? What's that industry that motivates you? See, because remember, you're providing a need. When you're doing a business and you want to provide a need, if people need what you're offering, whether it is a service, whether it is a product, you want to provide that need. Now, don't get discouraged if what it is that you want to do that really motivates you and drives you is already a market for it. Remember, there are almost 8 billion people on the planet, okay? So when you're going into an industry that's already exists, you want to look and see how you can innovate it, how you can make it special, what sets you apart from your competition, right? So when you're talking about your industry, you're going to what your business is offering, you focusing in on your business industry. You're going to be specific in your business plan about your product or service. And you want to detail what that service is. You want to detail what that product is. And you want to put together what kind of product type it is. You know what I'm saying? Which means you want to specify, in short, what it's going to take within the market to really put forth that product. What type is it? Is it something that you can do e-commerce? Is it something that you can do in person? I mean, what does it look like? What does the flow look like? After you do the specifics in terms of what your business is offering, you're going to go into where is the money going to come from? So your company financing, where is it coming from? Have you saved up to start small or large? Are you looking to get an investor? Do you have partners that, are willing to put in? You have to go by detail, your financing status, your financing terms. If you are getting a loan from somebody, if you have an angel investor, what are the terms of what is their return? So you have to do all of that math. your funding purpose. You have to be clear. You need funding for X, Y, and Z because you only have this much, or you have to be succinct, because the thing about it is when you do not have enough funds, that your sustainability, your business sustainability goes out the window, you know? So you want that to be really, really, really clear. Now, don't get discouraged. Now, if you know, you don't have no idea where the money is coming from, in your initial business plan, in this particular part, you need to say, okay, I'm starting grassroots. I'm going to make X amount, and I'm going to start at the farmer's market, or you can start small. So don't be discouraged, specifically if it's something that you really love and it's something that you want to do. Your energy and your drive will make it successful. You got to have that though, because it can be very exhausting. So you have to love what you do as an entrepreneur. Now, working a regular job is good to love what you do, yet you're going to get a check regardless, as long as you're doing the functions. But the success of your business depends on your energy. In your company financing, what are the use of your funds in your expected return? How much money are you, what are the expenses, and what is your profit, right? And how that's dispersed amongst all of everybody that you have to pay, including yourself. You want to make sure that you include paying yourself. A lot of times that is the mistake that we make as entrepreneurs initially, is we keep reinvesting. You have to celebrate yourself. You have to celebrate your wins. You need to pay yourself. What that looks like, that's on you, right? All right. Next slide, marketing. Who needs your product? Who needs your service? Who do you want to assist and help? What do you want to transmit? What demographic are you wanting to change their life? Because when you put a product out there, you're changing people's lives. Either you're making their lives more convenient, you're making their lives more healthier, you're innovating something that they have already been exposed to, you're giving them a different experience. Whose lives are you changing? Who wants your product? Who wants your service? Who is in need of it, right? What's the demographic? Or do you want it to stay in your particular area? Do you want it to expand eventually? You need to have what your end goal, specifically in marketing, what your end goal has to be very, very clear, so you can meet all of those marketing goals, right? You want to make sure you are crystal clear in terms of your who, because like what was said before, you cannot depend on your friends and family, okay? If they want to support, great, yet to have a successful business, it needs to be beyond just your close niche, right? What are the trends as you do market research? If you look at I guess complementary or similar markets, what does it look like? What are those numbers looking like? What's the feedback, right? You got to do your market research, okay? And business marketing. What do you want that to look like? You know, it's a whole creative aspect that goes into advertising. So you have to have a creative eye, or hire somebody that does have a creative eye. No, it goes back to knowing your pros and cons. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your weaknesses? If you have weaknesses, you need to be able to identify them so you can have people that are going to assist you in making sure that this product or service is successful in the marketplace, right? So you have to have an eye. You have to be really, really well connected with your demographic and know what it is that they want. Do the market research. You can do market research a lot of different ways. Like you can do, like what you mentioned before, you can do surveys. You can read reviews, right? Read complaints. when you hear complaints, that opens the whole world up for you, because you know what people's needs are. You know what people's complaints are with a similar product. If they have a going complaint, you can say, how could I improve on that and make it better, right? Okay. For marketing, we're going into your business goals and growth. Remember, you have to be very, very clear in terms of what is your end goal. Where do you want to end up? You know, because that is going to determine how you set up your business. What do you want to do? You want to be retired in 10 years? You know, you have to be very specific and honest with yourself. Or is this something that you want to be a part of? Or is this a legacy that you want to pass down to your children or family? Or just be clear on what it is that you want, because it's all about what you want in the long run, you know, because it's not worth it if it's not fulfilling you. It's not going to be worth it. You're not going to be fulfilled. So most definitely, it can't just be about making money. It has to be something personal. If it's about making money, because some folks it's just about making money. You need to find folks that are passionate about that particular field that you want to go into, because you might recognize as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneurs, they have no interest in some of the stuff that they invest in, yet they see that it's an opportunity, and so they look for professionals or experts that are going to help them reach that particular goal, right? You don't have to know everything, but you have to be connected with people that do know what it is that you don't know, okay? So be clear about your business goals. If it's a product, how is it going to be distributed? You know, is it going to be e-commerce? Are you going to have a storefront? You know, are you going to connect with other, other marketplaces, other stores? Where do you want your stuff sold in? What's the process for that? All of that has to be included in your business plan. Your pricing strategy, is it competitive? You know, what particular demographic in terms of the pricing strategy? You know what I'm saying? You have to know who your audience is. SWOT analysis, competitive analysis. That's the math. You have to do the math. You have to do the math depending on how small or large your business is. You want to be able to do the math. You want to have your specifics in terms of, okay, know how much money you want to make, what it's going to take to make it, where the products need to be distributed to make that happen. You know, you have to be specific. Okay. Next is your financial plan. So those things kind of roll in with one another. Your financial plan, your financial statements, how much money you're starting with, what are your initial startup expenses, who you need to hire on, what the expectations looks like for that, what are your specific financial goals, right? And you got to be very specific in terms of your overhead, your cost expenses, and how much you need to be able to cover all of that, plus pay you and your employees and pay the business, right? Business revenue, expected gross profit, all of that is included in all of that, right? So after you finish up your financial plan, you're going to do a brief summary in terms of very brief, a couple of sentences, brief summary and closing out your business plan. That's pretty much it. Business plans can be very simple depending on what your business is, and they can also be extremely detailed depending on how broad and wide and that which is necessary to bring your business into fruition. Okay, so if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, most entrepreneurs, like me personally, I can work with people, but I don't do well with folks telling me what to do. okay? So you got to know yourself, all right? I don't do well with that, specifically if I feel like my answer is better than yours, okay? I don't do too well. I've been sat in corporate America, I see too many issues. I see too many internal issues that need to be fixed. So, it's a lot of ways to come at entrepreneurship. You can contract yourself out to be consultants for some businesses. You know what I'm saying? It's just if you find a need and a niche, the market is wide open. It's stuff that I would never, ever, ever be interested in. Yet folks are millionaires, billionaires off of something that I'm not interested in. Why? Because the market is wide. Remember, it's 8 billion people on the planet. So don't get discouraged. If you're really feeling something, you really, really feel it, and it drives you, figure out where your niche is, figure out what it is what kind of mark you want to make, figure out who's going to buy it, and be detailed in your business plan and work your plan. Just work your plan. And of course, along the way, you're going to figure out ways that you need to adjust your plan. Okay, because things do happen in entrepreneurship. But I guarantee you, every quote unquote fail, you learn so much out of the areas that you failed in. I guarantee you, your next endeavor is going to be way more successful, because that's just how it goes. You grow. Everything you commit yourself to doing, that which you're successful at, that which you're unsuccessful at, you're still going to learn, and it's still going to make you a better entrepreneur. So at that, I yield. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much for that very informative presentation, Maat. There is a question. What is the greatest amount of time that you had to revamp your business plan, and why?
The greatest amount of time? I would say the greatest amount of time that I had to revamp my business plan was over a 2-month period, 2 to 3 month period. I went into a particular business with a partner, and you want to make sure that your partner in business, if you do a partnership, they are 100% committed and dedicated just as much as you are. Because if they are not, and you are expecting something coming from their end and they bail out, you got to rebound, okay? You got to rebound, and you will be able to rebound if it's something that you really, really want to do. Like, I had a storefront. I got rid of all of that overhead because I started the storefront with a partner. Once my partner bailed, long story, I got rid of my overhead and went from a wellness center to a wellness house. And that took off so much stress. I was so much happier. It's important to have happiness in your work, okay? You do not want to be overly stressed. You do not want to put your health on the line, okay, for a business. You are more important. Do remember that, all right? But most definitely keep striving, keep moving forward. If it's something that you really want to do, recalculate your equation, so to speak, right?
And you have kudos as well. One person commented, excellent information. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, someone needs to get in contact. Oh, you have another one? Thank you for this thorough overview. Now, if someone wants to get in contact with you, may we have your contact information, please?
Yes, you can email Samaat, SAHMAAT, at samaat@gmail.com, all lowercase, SAHMAAT@gmail.com.
All right. Okay, so if we don't have any further questions and information, we will move on to the next presenter.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Just giving our facilitator a little bit of time to bring up the presentation. You have to love technology.
Looks like I'm not the host anymore, so I was not able to share my screen.
Oh, that's odd. Okay, let's go back in and fix that quickly. Okay, how about now? There we go. Thank you. All right, our next presenter is Cameron Williams. Cameron Williams is the CEO and founder of Keenly Accounting LLC, an accounting organization that specializes in accounting for small businesses, financial analysis, and business consulting. Graduating with a bachelor's in accounting, a bachelor's in finance, and a master's in accounting, Cameron began working at the CPA firm Valenti, Rackley and Associates, also known as VRA. After working with the excellent staff at VRA for 2 years, Cameron then decided to move back to Atlanta, where he began to work in the private sector for Infor, the largest privately held tech provider in the world that focuses on business applications for organizations through cloud computing, Landis and GYR, and finally, Global Payments, one of the world's top 2 leading payment processing companies. While there, he led a team of 8, managed accounts worth over $100 million, and gained an exponential amount of experience with detailed variance analysis from his presentations with upper management. Soon thereafter, he transitioned into starting his own business, Keenly Accounting LLC, with the goal of truly helping people by using his corporate experience to benefit small businesses and individuals who desired to start their own legacies and build wealth. Cameron Williams.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Again, my name is Cameron. I'm the owner of Keenly Accounting. I'm excited to be here. I wish we could see everybody's faces, but it's okay. You know, everybody needs their own privacy. We're going to go through these slides. I'm going to try to give you more than what you see. These are just kind of some baseline things that you can just kind of follow. I'm going to try my best to give you some kind of real world stories to help paint this picture. And we're just going to try to make this as fun, as interesting, and as informative as we can. All right. So creating a small business budget. All right. So jumping right into it. Oh, wait, we skipped ahead. Hold on. Let's see. Next slide. See, we got different slides. It's okay. We're going to go off the screen. All right, here we go. So first and foremost, when we talk about a business budget, I want you guys to think about this as the lifeblood of what you're doing. So as you heard earlier, you have entrepreneurship. That's great. Like we just talked about, you have the financial plan. These are the things that you're going to use to help drive you and start making decisions. But like she started to mention, she started talking about financing. How do we get this financing? A big part of this is what we're about to go over. So as you can see here, when you're building a business, these are the important things that you really want to note and pay attention to. At the very start of it, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't have the money. It's too much. And that's what we're going to kind of get into. You don't have to have what you think, but you definitely want to start this at the beginning and not at the end when it's too late. Next slide. All right, so what is a business budget and why is it important? They already kind of stole a little bit of this presentation, but we're going to say it again. Hopefully, you know, sometimes people need it differently. So a business budget, going to the next slide. Bam, right there. This is something that's going to outline key information. A lot of us in the business world also call these financials. So you may hear, what is your financials? What is your balance sheet? What is your income statement? What does your P&L look like? All of these terms are kind of synonymous. They can be used interchangeably, but here we go. All right. As a financial business owner, you definitely want to always be first, make sound financial decisions. Of course, you want to identify where to cut spending or where you can grow your revenue. And of course, it's always going to be important to land funding to grow your business. Like I said, she just mentioned that, but literally not even a month ago, we just had this happen with somebody. He didn't know, hey, how much money do I have? I think I have this much. I don't know. I just know this is what I do. And he was trying to land a huge amount of money. That was a business loan that would greatly help him to continue to advance his business. But because his numbers and this business budget wasn't correct, he was at a standstill. He literally was like, there's nothing I can do. So that's why all of this stuff that we're about to go over is very, very important, because this is what can help you get that extra capital that you can reinvest back into the business, get the PPP loan, SBA loans, or whatever that case is. Next slide. All right, so this is all about tallying up your income sources, or to put it in regular terminology, how much money did you really make? I ask this question literally once a week to a business owner, and you'd be surprised at the answers I get. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I made. And I know you can say, well, how can you not know how much you made? Once you get into the process of true entrepreneurship, like the previous speakers were saying before this, you're getting so busy of, hey, I just have to deliver work. I'm gonna bill it and I keep on going. So first things first, you need to always know exactly how much money you're bringing in. Next slide. So your sales are a great place to start. This is where you want to look to be able to start determining these things. So for example, you may run, in this case, we used a freelance writing company. You may have multiple sources of income. You want to be able to be as specific as possible, because you never want to guess with how much money you make. So if you are a writing company, of course, you may have writing projects, a writing course, consulting, or maybe if you have an actual storefront, hey, you may have certain things that you sell only in the store. It doesn't matter how many sources you have. What matters is making sure that you account for each and every one and totaling them each and every month. So you can say, hey, on average, every month I make 5,000, 10,000. Some people make 50,000, $100,000 per month. Next slide. Determining fixed costs. What are these? These are going to be really simple, right? Fixed costs, I know y'all are super smart. Go to the next slide. Fixed costs are those things that are the exact same month to month. So just like, you know, if you stay in an apartment, you know what your rent is every single month. You know what your internet is, things like that. These are things that you're going to want to review, because they're going to stay the same. And 9 times out of 10, if they change, that's one of your indicators that something weird is going on and you need to check into that. So once you get all of these and you're writing these down, or we would tell people if they're just getting started, put it in Excel, right? Go in Excel, make your tabs, make it look nice and fancy. And we actually have a sheet that we provide to prospects and clients. Hey, start listing what are those costs that are the exact same every single month. Next slide. So here's just a quick tip. If you don't have any data, then maybe you can start projecting. So for example, there's somebody that we have, she hasn't started her business yet. She's like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is the industry. Can she tell me, hey, my rent is $1,050 every month? Probably, but she may not know internet and all these different things. Well, to start, before you open the doors, that's something that you can start writing. Hey, I anticipate my internet will be $100. My rent will be this, my water, my utilities, my trash, my marketing, my advertising, my supplies, etc. So if you don't have anything, because maybe you're about to start or you just started 2 months ago, you can always project and say, this is about where I think it will be. Let me write it down. And then you can kind of adjust from there. Next slide. Variable expenses. All right, these are the things that, as you see, they don't have a fixed price tag. They vary each and every month. These are the things that, of course, we're super familiar with, right? Like, I would say your phone bill, because sometimes those can change, but shipping, ads can change. There are so many different things. Your electricity bill if you're not on a fixed rate. Next slide. So of course, these change month to month. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, and this is, I'm serious when I say this, people legit don't get this. If you make more money, you are more than likely, like 95% of the time, going to spend more money. That's just the way it works, because that's the way it works. So when your profits are higher than you expect, you can expect to spend more, because typically those people are helping their business to grow or scale faster, right? If I'm making $5K a month, but I spend $1,000 on ads, well, I'm making $7K now. Logic would say, oh, well, maybe I can up my ad budget to $1,200 or $1,500 or $2,000. So that's one thing. If your profits are lower than expected, then these are some of those things that you may consider cutting or dialing back on. If I only made $4,000 this month, maybe my ads aren't working, maybe I didn't do it right. So instead of spending $1,000, maybe I need to bring it down to $500 or $250, right? So at the end of every month, just like we did for those fixed expenses, we want to do the same thing for variable expenses. It's going to be hard to project these because they literally are changing monthly, but after a certain period of time, you'll start to understand how these expenses are fluctuating. It could be, here's a nice big word we love to use in accounting, seasonality. What does that mean? Based on the season, maybe you spend more or you make less. There are some companies who just from October through December, they make a ton of money because, hey, that's Halloween, that's Thanksgiving, and that's Christmas time. And maybe during the summer, they don't make a lot. Or here in Atlanta, we have Six Flags. Most of their money is made in that spring break, like late or I guess mid-April, all the way through September, where it's hot. When it's cold, they know they're not going to get that many people coming. So that's an example of how your business can fluctuate due to the time of the month. All right, next slide. One-time spends. This is exactly what it says. Next slide. So a lot of times you'll have a one-time expense like, oh, I need to buy a new laptop, or there's this great course that just came out, or there's this brand new software I want to buy because it's going to make my workflow more efficient. You want to add those to your budget, and hopefully if you can see it out in advance, you can plan and start to save for this. This is one of those things that you want to do because you don't want it to be where, oh, it comes up and I just spend the money, even if you have it like that. No, hey, here's a course I want. It's going to be $2,000. Okay, let me look at the income, the fixed cost, and the variable cost. Okay, maybe if I dumb down these variable costs or cut it here or move this around, I can save some money to get that new computer or to invest in that new software. It just may take me 3 months, for example. But these are definitely things you want to plan for because they are super important. And more than likely, they are things that will help your business to either grow or to help you to be more efficient. Because like the people before me said, it's not all about working 16-hour days every single day. No, we want it to be a smooth machine. We want it to be functioning at an optimal level. So Plan for it because it's probably going to help your business. And now to the next slide. All right, pulling it all together. So we've talked about income, making sure that you detail all of your different sources. We've talked about fixed costs, which are the things that you're going to see every month, like your rent. We talked about variable costs, which could be your electricity usage or ad spend or advertising or consulting. And now we're going to put it all together. Now, on the next slide. Okay, so I have a very different one than this. So I'm going to use the version I have to try to illustrate and paint this picture. So I used in this example, and maybe we can email it to you guys so that you can kind of see actual numbers on an actual sheet. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so here's an example. No, these are not real numbers. I just put different things in, but these are real categories. So I used my business name, and this is for 2020. So as you can see, remember I said for the income, you want to have every single thing as detailed as possible. So like she told you in my bio, hey, we do tax preparation. Of course, we have monthly clients. A lot of times we have people come to us that say, hey, I don't have any books. So we build them these budgets and financials from scratch. We have some people that just want to ask a lot of questions because, hey, we heard you were good, or we were referred to you. That will be consulting income. And then we have the diagnostic review, where a lot of times we'll have people that come in with something like this, but they're like, I did it on my own. I'm not quite sure if it's right. I just feel kind of bad. Well, these are those main sources of income for me. As you see here, I would have tracked them throughout the whole entire year, and my total income is the big number in bold, that $167,000. All right, scrolling down. So you see on this part, I put fixed on some and variable for some. So hopefully for like those ads, what you can see is that that consulting, now in my case, I left that number in there because there was a guy who was helping me with my marketing, and it was just $300 a month. I knew what that charge was going to be. I could easily plan for it. So every single month, $300. So that's flat. The ads, as you see, are weird numbers because those kind of changed and we did different things. So there was the total for that number. If you keep going down on those merchant fees, those are variables. What are merchant fees? These are the things when you use your Stripe, Square, PayPal, Venmo, any type of payment processing, they never take out the same exact fee. It's always a percentage of what you make, which is something else you have to plan for. Remember, nobody's going to just give you money and you're good to go. No, to use our system, to use Stripe or Square, we're going to take 0.025% of every sale or 0.3%, whatever they're going to say. That's what a merchant fee is. So that's something we can't plan for that. We just know it's coming. So that's why I put variable there. We have different categories here. So like for me, I have a car that I use for business. So of course we track those different things like repairs and maintenance, gas, car insurance, because a certain percentage of that is deductible. Keep going down. You see we have entertainment. Yes, you can pay for entertainment as a business. It is not deductible on your taxes anymore. So be careful about that. Always remember that taxes and accounting, I tell people they are siblings, they are not twins. You can have something that works in accounting, but is not deductible, or only a portion is deductible when we get to the tax return. That's a whole different lesson. We're trying to keep it simple. Insurance, I have business insurance, which you're going to have to get because everybody likes to sue in 2021. So yes, you need to have business insurance. It is not super expensive, but this will be one of those fixed costs. I think mine is like $33 a month. So do that. You have legal and professional services. That can be you having a lawyer, accountant, marketing person, whatever that fits there. You have your meals and entertainment. This is another example of variable. I don't go out to eat every day or every week. I do go sometimes a month to meet a client, or I may buy some food for the team because we're going to work late that night. Or I may be doing an appreciation lunch for the week and saying, hey, everybody worked hard. We crushed another goal. So those are going to go up and down. Same thing with office supplies. You know, that's things like, I'm trying to look up, like pens, printer paper, sticky notes. I keep sticky notes, a whole bunch of these. Those are things that are going to be variable because you're not going to get the same exact thing every single time from the same place. Continuing and going down, you have other things like shipping, postage. When you're going to UPS and FedEx, you have repairs and maintenance. You know, if your laptop messes up, you have to, that's one of those one-time specialized costs. We don't plan for our laptops to mess up, or a hard drive or a monitor, but we definitely are going to have to pay for them. They are business expenses. So we want to, of course, count those. Software, one-time fees, like we talked about. These are things where typically, at least nowadays, what they try to do is they make you pay for everything up front. You'll get a 10 to 21 day free trial, and they want you to pay for the whole year right then and there. They don't really do monthly anymore, and if they do, they mark the price up. So if we're talking about managing finances, I can either pay 20 or 30 additional dollars because I'm paying monthly, or do I have it in my budget to pay for everything right now in January or right now in February and enjoy it for the rest of the year? You have taxes and licenses. You have travel, which will be crazy depending on whenever we open back up from COVID. You have your utilities. So you see right there, that phone bill. Of course, that's going to be something fixed. You should pretty much be able to determine this is what my phone is, etc. So now we have total expenses, $51,949. If you scroll back up to the top, remember, what was our total income? The 167. So at the very, very bottom, you have the total net income, or income minus expenses. We like to say revenue minus expenses, which is what this number will come out to. So this is a very, very basic version of what your business budget or financials will look like. And you go into more detail, sure, you can have way more categories than these, as many as you need to help you to make the best business decisions. If you wanted to take this a step further and start getting into projections, projections are, that's what I made in 2020. So for 2021, based on these numbers, where do I think I will end up? So then we can start making some assumptions and projections by saying, well, okay, if I spent $1,000 for the year in utilities, then maybe next year, unless I move somewhere, I can anticipate spending about $1,100 for utilities. And you do that for each category. Now you're going into another level of saying, this is where I was, this is where I want to be. And every single month or every quarter is what we like to do with our clients. Hey, where am I on the track, or am I on track to meet this goal that I set? If my goal next year would be to make 125K, well, in quarter one, which will be at the end of March, is this putting me on the right path to that? Yes or no? And if so, which one of these categories do I need to adjust? Maybe I'm spending too much on software. Maybe I'm going out to eat too much, too many meals, too much traveling. Maybe I'm just simply not making enough money. That's where you can start to go. But this is what we call the foundation. Without this, you can't get that funding. You can't get the SBA loan. You can't get the investor. And we're not even going to talk about the tax return, because if these are wrong, or you don't know, you don't feel right about them, just imagine how much money in taxes that you're playing around with that you can't get back. And that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I made it as simple as possible. And I hope these numbers kind of illustrated in a real world scenario what it looks like to create this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Cameron. That was much needed, especially now, given the climate. There is a question What would you suggest to make sure that your business is, I guess, pandemic or something of that nature happening in the future safe? Because a lot of businesses missed out on government funding, such as the PPP loan,
Yes.
and things of that nature, because they did not have the correct financial documents. So what would you suggest is just a basis to make sure that that doesn't happen?
All right, so we can do this two ways. So there are some people that I meet, right? And they're like, hey, I just started, but I'm not ready to bring an accountant onto my team. That's one of those scenarios, like in our particular case, and everybody doesn't do this, but we made a special summary sheet in Excel that kind of helps you to stay on track, that all you have to do is literally enter and type those transactions in. So first, at least have some type of Excel document that we can point to and that you can use to try to answer some of those questions. If you feel like you're beyond that stage now, you've been in business for, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year, and hey, I know that I'm about to start really growing, then I hate to say it, but it's time for you to bring an accountant on your team. What does that look like? It's different for everybody based on their particular needs and what they want. For some people, they say, hey, I just want a basic accounting package, which is perfectly fine. You have some people who say, no, I need an outsourced CFO, which is basically a fancy term for saying, I want everything. I want the taxes, the planning, my tax return included, those projections that we talked about, and all of those different things. So without knowing you and your specific scenario, I would say either you need to be on the LLC summary sheet, which actually one thing we can do is send that so that hopefully they can send that to you guys for free of charge. And if you're not doing that, or you feel like, nah, it's too much because I'm really growing and I don't even want to waste time keeping up with that, because let's face it, you don't make money doing accounting unless you're me. You make money doing whatever it is that you're great at doing. Then that's when you say, okay, I need to talk to somebody that I can trust and start building a long-term relationship with, that will have the patience to respond to me, educate me, manage these things, and walk with me as I grow my company.
Thank you. There is another question. Well, kudos first. It says, thank you for this Simplified Budget 101 presentation. When you use your personal car and phone for your business, is there an easy way to determine the reimbursement?
That depends on your business entity, but I'm gonna use the general, because most people are LLCs. In general, if it's your personal car, you need to be tracking mileage. They have apps for that. A popular one is Mile IQ. I just use an Excel sheet, which actually I can email that to you as well. So technically you'll have both of those for free. But typically you track that at the end of the year. A certain percentage of that is deductible and a certain percentage is not. For phones, it's all about business usage. So like for me, my phone, I'd say 90% of it is business. So 90% is what is a business expense. And that other 10, that's just personal usage. That would be different if you're an S corp. We didn't even get into entities and what do all of those different pieces mean. But some entities have where you get reimbursed monthly. Some you just have to know that percentage to take, but that's when you should be to the point where you're saying, hey, accountant person, this is what I got, tell me what to do with it, and then they'll start to instruct you from there.
All right. May we have your contact information in case someone wants to get in contact with you?
Sure. So if you guys want to get in contact with me, I'm on all social media at my name, Cameron Williams. If you want to go to our website, you would go to Kinley Accounting, KYNLI accounting.com. There are plenty of free videos there. I have a free YouTube channel where we post a lot of videos and series and free tips. So you can go to Cameron Williams and you should be able to find me on there. Social media, you can go to Kinley Accounting or just find my name as well. So we have plenty of places, plenty of free resources to try to help with some of these more basic questions and situations. And hopefully as you grow, you'll master those and then you'll, upgrade to bringing an accountant on your team.
Thank you once again, Cameron. We're going to move on to the next presenter, Darick Spears.
Can you hear me, Vay?
Yes, give us one moment. We're just pulling up your presentation.
Okay, no
We
problem.
can hear you and see you.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. All right, Darick Spears. He is the author of over 80 books across 15 categories, scriptwriter, songwriter, and ghostwriter. From childhood, Darick Spears processed the world through his notebook. Darick was born with the mind constantly on the move, dreaming up new ideas, analyzing the world around him, and making magic from the mundane. He didn't know how to communicate his musings to the people around him. So he turned to a place of no restriction and no judgment, his notebook. Acclaimed as America's most creative writer since that day, Darick has explored expression in a myriad of different mediums, from books to plays to films, for streaming on Amazon Prime, hip hop albums, he has 25 plus, and instrumental albums. Darick's career has been prolific, enough to fill an entire bookstore of his own work. His bookstore and creative space in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, named Darick Books, the first bookstore of its kind, is a testament to his expertise and creativity, which he is now using to assist others in developing their work. Darick Spears.
Thank you, Vay. We can go to the next slide. I'll give you a brief, if they could click on the brief Darick book story so you get a little bit more knowledge on what my business and I do. So if you could click the watch.
His thoughts on paper in school, went on to publish more works than he ever imagined. And now he's sharing his creativity with the world. Megan Reistedt introduces us to the entrepreneur behind a one-of-a-kind bookstore.
Everyone has a story.
Darick Spears takes on a ton of titles.
Author, I'm a music producer, a film writer, entrepreneur, father, and a husband, and just a child of Milwaukee and a child of God.
He says he picked up a pen as early as he can remember.
Since I was 5, 6 years old, I was writing. I couldn't stop. Grew up in Milwaukee, born and raised on the north side. Used to attend 35th Street School when I was a kid, and you know, from there I got involved in a Chapter 220 program where I got to go from the north side to Mequon. Every day it was like a trip back and forth to 2 different worlds. It's like you don't fit in both sides. So my world began inside of a notebook. You know, it's like, so my source of speaking to the world was through creativity.
Bringing him here today.
Darick Books, the first bookstore of its kind. And the reason why I said it is because my bookstore is a representation of going against the odds.
Every book in his shop, that's around 70 so far, he wrote himself.
So you write books of all different kinds.
All different kinds.
Tell me about a few of these titles.
Gifted Autistic, that's very, very, comes from my daughter, you know, my experience with autism, because a lot of people don't understand autism. It's just a different way of they just learn differently, you know, and they're just like me. It's a true story of Fatty Spears. You know, I talk about stories about a kid who got cut from a basketball team, 9th grade, 10th grade, humiliated, you know, by his team friends, and in high school, it's about status, and he eventually makes the varsity team. But that's a true story because that's about my life. You know, that really happened in my life. One of my best sellers is The Weirdo. Ironically, I've always felt weird in my life, you know, so you would not imagine how many people feel ostracized and different, and they gravitate towards the weirdo because the words speak to them. The pen is a mighty and powerful thing. It's a mighty sword.
And Darick says some of the struggles he wrote about as a teen still ring true today.
Human beings, if we take away color, we take away all that, we all have the same type of issues, you know. Feel too fat one day, feel too short. Book from 1995.
Oh my gosh, 1995.
This is actually a poem from 95 that I wrote that turned into a book. Will I succeed in this life of sorrow? I wrote this as a young man at 12 years old. Will I succeed in this life of sorrow? Will I live to see another precious tomorrow? Will I be judged by the color of my skin, or will I continue to feel sorrow deep down within? Is there another day if tomorrow isn't promised? Don't give up the fight unless your work is accomplished. Will a black man succeed in our community, or can we all stand together and succeed in unity? Right now, the artist should be the most inspired right now. Like, I can't stop writing because we are the timestamp of this time period. Be part of the solution, not the problem. Hate is the common denominator for racism, for prejudice, for all of that. We can't fight hate with hate. You know, we can pray and show love.
And so many chapters still unwritten.
Darick Books, right here, this bookstore on this corner is going to change the world. Cool, thanks for watching. Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. We can go to the next slide. All right, so can you hear me? Okay, you good. We can go to the next slide. So I'm here talking about doing some great presentations of everything everybody was saying. It's prolific and great. If you can go back one slide. I'm here to talk about, on top of everything everyone has talked about, the business pitch. And a pitch is a presentation, just give you a brief definition of business idea to potential investors and clients. Now, those potential investors and clients, a lot of times we often think about boardroom presentations, and no. Sometimes, and I've learned in my experience of business, is it could be where you are. You know, you could be at a networking event, you could be in an elevator, you could be just about your business, and you're representing you're the face of your business. So a lot of times the pitch can begin with someone saying, hey, what do you do? And once you start talking and you present what it is, what service or whatever it is that you do, that is a lot of time the initial business pitch of what you do, because someone else could be very interested in maybe getting into what you're doing or investing into what you're doing. You could be just a great artist. You could say, well, I draw, I do such and such, or I'm a photographer and I take pictures, this and that. And someone could offer you a job right there. Like, hey, well, I got a bar mitzvah coming up, or I got a party. Is it something that you could come and do? And that's your initial service, and that could lead to some type of investor or client. You go to the next slide. So it's very, very important, and it's been said today many times, to know your business. What is your business? What services do you offer? How long have you been in business? Who's your target market or customer? And the reason I say this is knowing all of these things helps you to quickly talk your business and not confuse another person or make it seem as if you are confused. Because if you don't have all these things aligned, most times you may come across as, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think they know what they're doing, or this and that. So it's important to really, really know your business in and out. And they've talked about entrepreneurship. They talked about the business plan. Talked about the accounting and all of that, the numbers, et cetera. And that is a lot of times when you go through those steps, you really, really get to know your own business. So it's very crucial that you don't skip any steps and you learn from the basement to the top floor. You go to the next one. selling yourself. Most times, and I've learned this in business, if you're the face of the business, most times the investor or the client, they're going to buy into you first. A lot of times, even if you're selling a product, when people come into my store, a lot of times they're buying into me first. They may be like, oh, I like that book or this and that. But a lot of times we sit and we talk for a good 5-10 minutes, or they've seen some of my story or this and that. And they're more inclined to they buy into me first. And once a person buys into you, if you give you an example, people who in music or whatever, people who finally got to know Beyonce. When Beyonce comes out with a product, it's usually gone right away because they've already bought into who she is. And they're really, once they buy into who you are in your business, in which when you create your business, a lot of times you create your vision, your passion is all, you kind of like, you're dissected into all of that. So you are a representation, you're the face of it. So once they buy into you, they buy into your business. So always put your best foot forward, knowing the business and knowing what it is always the door opener for more clients and investors to want to do any type of business with you. If you come across as scammy, or you come across as like, man, they don't know what they're talking about, they're going to more likely be like, I don't want to have nothing to do with their business. So that's why you hear about some people who go to restaurants, or you go to some stores and they're like, I don't deal with them no more, because they shiesty, or they don't know what they're doing, and that makes the business the actual the credit, people they credit the business bad or whatever. So we go to the next slide. All right, so professionalism, and that goes into also if you're really serious about it, before you even, when you're pitching stuff, where can they find you? Do you have a portfolio of some of your work? Do you have a website? Do you have an email, a phone number, a business address? If you have like you could have a storefront, or you can have a virtual business address. Virtual business addresses, are available for you to get. Do you have a projection of what you're doing, what your business is doing, futuristic 6 to 12 months, or maybe 5 years? You have a projection of where you're heading. And that also goes into what people talked about earlier, the business plan. So the business plan entails a lot of these things. And like I said before, once you have that business plan together and all, it's so easy for you to know your business and to pitch it. And finally, do you have testimonials? Testimonials are so important once you have a business. I learned this, I know it sounds funny, but I used to buy a lot of stuff from I went to China once, and I saw how important they wanted you to leave good feedback for them. And I figured out why, because, testimonials a lot of times lead to more business. People like, if you're getting 5 stars, this and that, and people are saying, oh, this person's doing great, such and such, then it'll make it'll make you more credible as a business. So you go to the next slide. This goes into the last thing I was talking about, referrals. A lot of times, business is built upon referrals. When I have people come in to my store, if I'm helping someone write a book, or if they came in and they like the way I treated the customer or whatever, the referrals build up a lot of your business. And you can get people, if you're getting great gradings, you're getting good referrals, it's easier for you to pitch your business to someone else and say, hey, we're doing this. And they, your name, your reputation may precede you to the point where you have investors and other people knocking at your door based off of one of your clients or someone who's referred them to you. So that's a big thing in business, as well as referrals. If you go to the next one. Importance of a business plan. And I just reiterated that. I feel like the business plan, and when I started my business, I started business very young. When I was like 18, 19, I started a business, and the first thing I did was create a business plan. And it was about 5 or 6 pages, but I was going through everything, and it just helped kind of like me to shape what it is that I wanted to do. I made sure I answered the questions, who is my target audience, my market, what was my vision, what was I doing? And it was just helping shape and mold what it is I'm doing. So when I got to talking to someone, they're like, hey, well, what do you do? And that's easy for me to just be like, oh, this is what I do. This is my market. This is the people that I kind of target, this and that. That's why it's very, very important for you to write out and create your business plan. I have a book that's really a great seller, and it's the Entrepreneur Workbook in my store, and also have a business plan workbook. And a lot of people call in for those things because they want to really, and I always tell them it's really great for you to also be proactive. And I'm not going to just give you all the answers. You're going to have to work and answer the questions, so you could shape your vision and shape your plan. You go to the next slide. 30-second pitch. I learned this. When you go to networking events, we do these things at networking events with other business people, and we go around in a circle and we talk, and they usually give you like 30 seconds to talk about really what it is you do. What's your business? What's your business? What do you service that you provide? This and that. And the importance of that is because people don't have time to be sitting there listening to you talk very, very long. A lot of investors or people may not want to do that till later stages. They may want you to just, shoot your shot. Hey, what is it that you do? Hey, I'm a barber. I cut such and such people hair, or I'm a writer. I write blogs. I write this. I do this, and that. And they're like, okay, cool. Maybe I can use, this and that. I can use that. It's very important for you to be detailed in what you do and be able to say it quickly. And that's even in emails as well. People don't want you to write a long email about something. They want you to basically get to the point. So that's why I kind of quickly went through this presentation as well, is just to show you how quickly you can get to the point of different things. That's why I did. I didn't want to be all long-winded and this and that, because some people don't have time for all that. They're like, come on, get to the point. So master that 30-second pitch. So I call it, some people call it elevator pitches or elevator speeches. What's your business? What you do? What service do you provide? How can I reach you? And if they invite you to back and say, you know what, that sounds very interested. I'm interested. I looked at your website. I looked at your portfolio. Once you have all that organized, then they'll be like, you know what, I may want to invest in that. And then that's when you go into more details of investing. What is it that you want back? That's when you go into other stuff. But you're consistently always in business going to be researching. You're always going to evolve or die. You're always going to, shape up and restructure the way you do different things. Some things may work, some things don't. Don't be afraid. Put yourself out there, and you never know where you'll end up. But just one thing you never do is quit. You could restructure stuff. If it's not working for you, find ways to make it work, or cut the fat off, and and keep, or the dead weight off, and keep going. But business pitches can get you good business, and they can get you some good investors, and they can get you some good clients, which can help you grow your business in the long run. I believe that's my last slide. Going to the next one. Thank you and good luck. It's all about the journey. I tell you, you get to a certain area, when you look back, you're like, dang, it was a great journey. I learned a lot. Don't miss any steps, because when you miss steps, then you don't learn stuff. You learn from your mistakes, ask questions, you outsource it, if you need help, and you'll be successful. You just got to be resilient and used to the doors closing and going. So hope you guys learned and enjoyed some stuff from the business pitch.
Thank you, Darick, for that inspirational presentation. There is a question. What's the best business pitch you've given and the worst business pitch you've given, and why?
Wow, the worst business pitch I've given. I think it was more likely earlier, in my earlier stages. I think the worst business pitch was the longest one. I actually would just keep talking, and then this is what I did. That's what I did. I would talk about all the things that I did, and it wasn't specific. It was just broad, and it was like, okay, you kind of confusing me, you doing all of this stuff. So how could I what can you offer me? And then I watched someone else give theirs, and they was like quick and to the point. And I was like, dang, oh, I gotta just get like that to help me shape more. So I can't give you like exactly what I said, because I have to go back in time, but I do know it was just too much. I was just giving them too much, and it kind of confused them.
Thank you. You have some comments. One is, I can definitely relate to the title of your book, Weirdo, and very intrigued. I'm not gonna tell on you. And very intrigued by your bookstore and all you have accomplished. You definitely succeeded. That's great. Kudos. You also have more kudos. Love of business built on creativity. Great job, brother. Inspirational for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Now, if they need to get in contact with you, may we have your contact information, Darick?
Sure. All my social media stuff is right here, but you can just go to, honestly, you can go to darickbooks.com, and it has my contact information all on there. If you want it, I don't know if you wanted to give a copy. If you did get a copy of the presentation on this last page, has all of my links to every, my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Darick Books. Make sure you spell it right though. DARICK books.com, or you can go Darick at ddsmediaworks.com is my email. And anytime, shoot me an email, or you can call the store. You can look it up. It's on Google, Darick Books. Call the store. And yeah, if it's something I can help with, just on the strength of DaVatrice Lindsey, it is what it is.
Thank you once again. Now we're moving into what everyone has been waiting for. We're going to give some feedback. Well, the judges will give some feedback on the entries for the business pitch competition, and then announce the winner. And I have the pleasure of introducing to you our esteemed panel of judges, starting with Ms. Donna Lindsey. Donna Fisher Lindsey is a resident of Lawrenceville, Georgia. She retired from Sage Software as a product support specialist in 2019 after working there for 22 years. Her prior experience includes internal auditing, program administration, and administrative assistance. She has a BS degree in accounting from the University of South Carolina and an MS degree in biblical studies from Newborough Theological Seminary and College of the Bible. She is currently the owner of Life Journey Genealogy, a genealogy consulting research and service company. Ms. Lindsey is a licensed and ordained minister. Next, we have Dr. Maria Cole. Dr. Maria Cole serves as the executive director of Paragon, Florida, and previously served 9 years as a board member of the organization. In this capacity, she has tirelessly advocated for the organization and its unrivaled benefit to the community. She is committed to cultivating her relationships with community members, organizational and business leaders, and local officials, and advocate for the needs and resources to marginalized communities to provide and articulate a shared vision of community building. Maria Cole has spent her entire adult life in pursuit of social and economic justice for the underserved and disenfranchised people. She has a passion for the details of political campaigns, excels in the strategic leadership of community organizations, and is adept in budget management and planning, social media development, and fundraising. Maria is driven by community engagement and providing community members with the benefit of her experience to realize their own agency in transforming their lives and their neighborhoods. For the last 10 years, she has had a specific focus on these communities in Riviera Beach and West Palm Beach that are considered Paragon's target areas. Throughout her more than 25 years of living in Palm Beach County, she has served on a number of organizational boards, from displaced women gaining skills and support for economic self-sufficiency, homeless, young adults, and children. All of these organizations shared a mission of improving the quality of life for the area's most marginalized. Dr. Cole has served as a business manager for Harvard professor, writer, and public speaker, Cornel West. Currently in Palm Beach County, she coordinates conferences and training sessions for community organizations and issue-driven campaign staff to develop local leadership for community engagement. Next, we have Mr. Douglas Kelly. Douglas is currently Vice President of Sales for Courier Communications, Real Estate Consultant for First Weber Realtors Incorporated, and President of the Board of Directors for the Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship. Douglas is an accomplished professional with broad sales experience, encompassing creative development and strong communication skills. He has the acute ability and skill set to provide creative, innovative, enthusiastic, and forward-thinking leadership in a team environment. Born, raised, and educated in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Douglas holds a Bachelor of Science degree from Marquette University with a major in Business Administration Finance with the minor in Interpersonal Communications. He has been a longtime member of Greater Galilee Missionary Baptist Church and has 2 sons, Dwight, who is 24, and Darick, who is 22. Last but certainly not least, we have Sion and Samaj. Sion, Chief Executive Officer, age 15, and Samaj, Senior Executive Officer, age 13, are 2 energetic, motivated teenpreneurs who have endured several of life's difficulties. The Washington brothers have used their trials of their young lives to focus on helping youth thrive during difficult times. Sion and Samaj are published authors, keynote speakers, multi-businessmen, and key faces of Central Florida prominent kids of color. They are owners of the brand S2T2 Sports Apparel, S2T2 Sports Recharge Vending Machines, and co-author of the teen compilation book, Dear Adults, We Have Issues Too. That is our panel of amazing judges. We will start by each judge giving their feedback regarding the video submissions, and then the winner will be announced. Who would like to start first? Okay, we will start with Miss Danya.
There we go. You know, and I'm one that's always telling people, you know, unmute, but I enjoyed the videos. I did find, what is it, Motivated King Incorporated, very engaging and very believable. I wanted to learn more about the organization. And Show and Heal, I found if I listened carefully, I could understand the whole purpose of the organization. And I thought it was good that there was a testimonial in the video. So I found that to be helpful. So those are my comments.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll make my few comments. And just to coattail what Ms. Lindsey said, you know, Show and Heal, I think the testimonial was extremely good. Testimonials are always good when you're trying to sell a service and everything else. The believable stage may have been an issue with understanding of her or what she was saying. So that's one thing that you may want to look at. Motivating King, you know, very good presentation that he made. Extremely very good presentation. That's my few comments.
Thank you. Dr. Cole? I know she was having computer issues. Let's see if she was able to get back on. Dr. Cole? Okay, we'll come back. Sion and Samaj?
Okay, this is Sion for Motivated Kings. I like that you guys explicitly gave us the mission of your organization and the pitch flowed and it was very easy to follow. And then
and Show and Heal, I like that you gave us unique and intake and the approach to mental health.
Thank you. And let's see if Dr. Cole was able to get back on. Dr. Cole? Dr. Cole? All right, I don't think she was able to get back on. Neutral party. So I did not participate in the judging. I just want to give that disclaimer. I did not influence or anything of that nature. But during the meeting, just so that her, her feedback is heard, from what I remember, and the other judges can correct me if I'm wrong, she liked the testimonial of Showing Hill as well. And she liked the whole concept because it's much needed, prevention of teen suicide. And then for Motivated King, she said it was very succinct. It was very just on point. And she only watched it once, and she already knew what his business was about. And she knew his contact information by heart just from watching it once. So I remember her giving that feedback. Did I miss anything? Or do I need something to be corrected? Or is that pretty much what you all heard as well?
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay.
Yes. I think one of the other good points was that he did have contact information in the video. And so you would know how to get in contact with him, or at least know where to go to find out information.
Thank you. I forgot about that part. And I guess the fake drum roll, who will be announcing the winner?
I will be announcing the winner. And we discussed it, and our winner is Motivated Kings Incorporated. Yay. So.
And what the winner will get is free consultations with experts in different areas of business, such as marketing, finance, accounting, web presence, just to name a few. They'll also receive 500 free business cards and a free logo. All right, did the judges want to add anything else?
No, I think we summarized it pretty well.
Yeah, I would like to say that on Showing Hill, and I had to think about it. At first, I did not find your testimony believable, but I think it may have just been nervousness, maybe on the part of the person giving the testimony, and maybe given the time limits. But you might want to look at that, when you do it again.
Excuse me. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
By the way, for, is it okay if I ask a question about that or explain that?
Sure.
So that testimonial was done before this whole pitch competition came out. So I just wanted more clarity about what the question is about, and not being believable.
Well, it sounded like she was just reading. And she may have been reading. It may have been a script. But even in reading a script, it can be enhanced by injecting some emotion into what they're reading.
Does that answer your question? Miss I? Oh, did we lose her? Miss I, are you still there? Oh, you're on mute. Miss I, you're on mute. You are on mute. Unmute yourself. Miss I, unmute yourself. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see here. No, it's not going to allow me to do so. I think she heard your feedback. Oh, there she is. Did you hear the feedback, Ms. I?
Sorry. No, because my Wi-Fi was sorry. my Wi-Fi messed up. It just froze. So I was just saying that if you guys didn't hear, it's like the pitch was, I mean, the testimonial was done way before. So I was just wondering like why or how was it not being perceived as believable?
Okay, and my comment was just, it seemed like she was reading it. The concept of including it is good, but it seemed like she was just reading it, and maybe just even in reading it, interjecting it with some emotion. And maybe, you know.
Yeah, she was nervous. Yeah, she said she was nervous. So she had, because she wanted to include all the different points. So she was reading part of it. So it wasn't like we had paid her or told her to memorize it, you know, to say it. It was just something she had done without us knowing anything about where it would go. It was just to have testimonials.
Okay. Yeah. But it was good to have it. It was good to have it. Yes.
Is that
very nice? Are there any other questions?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, is that a requirement in the pitch to have contact information? Because we worked a lot on the application itself too, knowing that there was going to be our information on there too.
I think it goes back to what the speakers have been saying about anytime that you are able to pitch your business, you have a limited time to do it and to be prepared to pitch it. So in any pitch that you're doing, you want to include some contact information, even if it's just 30 seconds. Hey, I'm Donna Lindsey with Life Journey Genealogy. I help people with their genealogy search. It didn't take long, but you understand my company name. And I could have also said, you know, look us up at lifejourneygenealogy.com. And it also gives a bit of business acumen, or I can't think of the word, but anyway, it shows that you're serious about what you're trying to do, because you have invested time in setting up a website and doing other things. So even if you don't have a lot of time, figure out how to work out your contact information into your pitch.
All right, thank you for the feedback.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, thank you to the audience for attending today. These are some excellent presentations, so I'm pretty sure you all took something away from them. Thank you so much for the judges who took time out of their busy schedules, and we connected in different time zones to be able to look at the business pitches and to give them positive feedback and to help them develop as a business, which is really good. I think even the people who didn't participate in the competition have been able to take away information from your feedback. And I believe that's it. So everyone stay safe and healthy and have a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.